नित्यानन्देश्वरसमारम्भां नित्यानन्देश्वरिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. I'll expand on Kathopanishad. So first, please chant the Shanti mantra along with me. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This great Upanishad, Kathopanishad, Upanishads are the essence of Vedas. Among the Upanishads, Kathopanishad is Upanishad Siromani, Upanishad Shikamani, means it's one of the best Upanishad because the subject it deals is death. Please understand. With right understanding, death can become rejuvenation energy. Energy which will rejuvenate you. Don't think death is always a curse. When you don't understand, it's a curse. Actually, when you don't understand, even Siranjivitva, eternal life, is a curse. Do you know the Siranjivis of the world? Prahalata, Markandeya, Hanuman, Ashwatthama. In all these Siranjivis, Ashwatthama was cursed to be Siranjivi. Please understand. Ashwatthama's Siranjivitva is not a boon for him. That you will never die is not a boon given to Ashwatthama. It was a curse given to him. Just imagine, you are never going to die. You will literally be swallowing tons and tons of depression pills and boredom pills. If you don't understand life, if the life is not understood, life is a curse. If death is not understood, death is a curse. If you understand both, I tell you, every time death happens, it is a possibility for you to rejuvenate and take a new body. Kathopanishad talks about death. So many secrets about death and how you need to live your life to understand death, have liberation when natural death happens to you. Listen. understanding death. Actually, these characters of Kathopanishad, Nachiketa, Yamadharma, Yamadharma's way of radiating fear and compassion, how he makes people shiver when they don't understand death, how he showers compassion when somebody understands and want to understand death. Please understand, Yamadharma must have been the most loneliest being on this space. No friends. Nobody wants to talk to him. Nobody wants to understand him. Nobody wants to listen from him. Maybe Nachiketa is the first person who wants to talk to him, who wants to listen from him, who wants to understand death firsthand. We Hindus should have taken Kathopanishad more seriously. It's very unfortunate that Kathopanishad is not given a proper place in our day-to-day life. It is only chanted when somebody dies. It is not used as a book for our day-to-day life. It would have been so nice if Kathopanishad has become a book for day-to-day life, because whenever you understand the right context, whenever you understand death, the kind of a energy you radiate, the kind of a understanding you radiate, the kind of a life you live, the kind of a cognition you carry is just unimaginable. Unending, inexhaustible excitement and enthusiasm happens on a person who understands death. Three characters appear in this Upanishad. One, Nachiketa's father, Ujjaisravas, and Nachiketa himself, hero of the Upanishad, and Yamadharma, rishi of Upanishad. He speaks, the major part of these Upanishads are his words. Understand? Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. These are the three qualities of human beings. I can say in a way, everything in the world is made of these three qualities. Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. Sattva is the pure seeking. Rajas, powerful but confused, complicated, contradicting. Tamas, literally dead. Death. Please understand. Understand. Nachiketa is pure seeking. Nachiketa's father, king, is embodiment of Rajas, powerful but confused. Nachiketa is embodiment of sattva, pure seeking. Nachiketa's father is embodiment of rajas, powerful but confused. If you see his action in these Upanishads, see, he is already a wealthy, rich king who literally has everything, but even then he doesn't feel complete. He doesn't feel fulfilled. Not feeling fulfilled is one side. Not knowing why you are not feeling fulfilled is the worst thing. So Ujjayi not only he is not complete, he is not able to understand why he is not complete, why he is not feeling fulfilled. This is one of the biggest problem of all rich men. Unless you are spiritually rich, you will face this problem. You won't feel complete, and you will not know why you don't feel complete. That is the worst thing, I tell you. When you don't know why you feel incomplete, you will try to come up with your own reasons. That is where the messing up of your life starts. You start thinking, why I am not complete? I know I have all the pleasures now. It may not be permanently with me. It may go away. It may be taken away. Insecurity is the name of confused incompletion. When you don't know to find the root cause of your incompletion, the confused name you give, the identity mistake happens for your incompletion is insecurity. Listen. The identity mistake, when you cannot recognize, when you are not able to understand mistake, when you are not able to understand the pattern of incompletion, reason for incompletion, the mistake you do is calling it as insecurity. Here, Nachiketa's father does the same mistake. The Vajashravas is embodiment of rajas, confusion. He understands he is not complete, but he doesn't understand the reason why he is not complete. Because he doesn't understand the science of completion, he thinks the fear of losing all these pleasures, status, is the reason for his incompletion. So he plans for retaining all the pleasures even after death. Only then you start projecting heaven. Heaven is nothing but simple, silly stupidity of your incomplete brain cooked with your confusion, finally added with a complication. Understand the concept of heaven. The concept of heaven is nothing but your confused brain trying to extend whatever you feel as important for your life, and insecurity. because of your insecurity, trying to extend whatever you think as security, even beyond your death, is heaven. Real heaven is completion. Real heaven is completion, here and now. Listen, Vajashravas, embodiment of Rajas, is not able to guide the Sattva to enlightenment because he himself is confused. How can he guide? Because he wants heaven, he is giving away whatever he is having. Can you imagine? He has some things and he feels insecure that in future all those things may be taken away from him. So he wants all of that to be permanently with him. And then the Vedas come there and tell you, please give away whatever you have. You will get everything in heaven. What is the meaning of it? The meaning of it is, when you give away, your insecurity also will go away. You will achieve completion. Then permanently, eternally, you will be in heaven. But this guy, without understanding the context, why Vedas prescribe charity, he thinks charity and heaven is a bargain. Please understand, it is not bargain. Many times, your insecurity and inauthentic identity is established on what you think as yours. Please listen. The I and mine, these two are the root of all your incompletions. I and mine. People always think the I comes first and then mine happens. No. Mine comes first, then I happens. Based on whatever you cognize as yours, you cognize who you are. Listen. Based on whatever you cognize as yours, based on that you cognize you. Many times the yours, that mine, becomes the source of I. So if you give away all of them, the incompletions also will disappear. You will evolve a new I which can be reinvented, which can be rebuilt based on completion. I tell you. Poor man is a man who has never seen poverty even once in life. Understand? I am defining who is poor man. Poor man is a man who has never seen poverty even once in life. Because this country has already suffered in poverty, we are not understanding the richness it can cause. Please listen. I am not promoting poverty. All I am trying to tell you is, even once, if you have not realized poverty, you will not have the free space in your being to reinvent yourself. That is why in the science of enlightenment, at one point you have to break, renounce everything, be in the street empty-handed, till that you don't own anything. Nothing can be the reason for your cognition of I. Your I has to be just dependent on I. The mind cannot be the foundation ground for I. For that understanding to sink in, at least 1 year in your life, you should have been empty-handed, nothing, without anything. No relationship, no friends, no money, nothing. I tell you that 1 year will give you the strength to reinvent who you are. And I can tell you, 9 years of my accepted poverty, self-imposed poverty, not imposed on me forcibly. I may not want to say my Purvashram family is rich, but they are decent. They were able to provide food and clothes and shelter for me. That much they are able to do. But when I renounced all of that, and family, friends, all the known contacts, everything, that 9 years of self-imposed poverty gave me tremendous space to reinvent myself and rebuild the new I from the space of completion. I tell you, man who has never seen poverty in the life at least for 1 year is the poorest fellow. Is the poorest fellow, because just recently I was reading an article, a research paper in Facebook. Just fasting can rekindle and awaken your whole immune system. I was shocked. I thought, how can fasting rekindle, reawaken, strengthen your immunity system? When I sat and consciously started scanning, when I started analyzing, I found the truth. If you allow the body, see, I have seen so many Jain monks fasting left, right, and the center. Means living just with hot water for 1 year. I have seen, please understand, believe me, I have seen Jain monks who live just on warm water 1 year. But I have not seen a single Jain sadhu dying unless they decide to give up the body. And Jain sadhus are the most healthiest, long-living sadhus in all monastic orders. Catholic, Hindu, Buddhist. In Sufism, one sect has monastic order. So many tradition monasteries, monastic orders I have seen. The long-living, most healthy monastics, sannyasis I have ever seen are Jain sadhus. Whether it's a length of life or the quality of activism, nothing can be compared to Jain sadhus. So please understand, the secret is fasting rejuvenates the immune system. There are tons of research in the Facebook. Fasting rejuvenates the entire immune system, because when there is no load on the system, it gets space to reinvent itself. Sometimes wealth becomes stinking load on your consciousness. Please listen. The word I am using, sometimes wealth becomes stinking load on your consciousness. It does not let you reinvent you. At those moments, charity is the best solution. Charity is the best solution. I am not asking you, you should live in poverty forever. No. At least 1 year in your life, be away from everything. Friends, family, contact, wealth, what you earned, whatever is a stinking load on you, suddenly you will see so much of natural completion, spontaneous completion happening in you. You just know how to reinvent yourself. How to reinvent yourself. If you are feeling stuck, confused, disturbed, like Vajashravas, I give you the solution. 1 year, be away from everything known to you. I know it looks very risky, too difficult, but anything great has some price. You have to pay for it. I paid and I found it is worthy. I tell you, I found it is worthy. The very I gets altered. Because of mine, you build I. When that mine is taken away, the I can just be rebuilt. Many people come and tell me, rich guys, filthy rich guys, Swamiji, there was a time I declared bankruptcy. I did not even have food. This scene which I am describing will be a typical part of all big rich guys. There was a time I declared bankruptcy. I did not have anything. There was no friends to help me, nobody to support me. I was homeless. I was begging and eating in the streets. I tell you, that part of the life is a blessing. They may not know, but that is the blessing. Because that is the time when mine is taken away, I melts down, all the incompletions disappear. You will have an inner space where you can reinvent and rebuild yourself from the space of completion. Blessed are those who experienced utter poverty at least once in life. Listen, blessed are those who experienced utter poverty at least once in life. You will have a space to reinvent yourself. This is the context for which the charity has been prescribed by the Upanishads. With the Vedas, they say very clearly, whatever you really like, give them away. Whatever you really feel as your wealth, give them away. But unfortunately, Vajashravas is thoroughly confused. He did not understand the context. Maybe he would have read the Vedas on his own or heard from some trekker gurus who are sitting with a jeans pant and trying to talk on yoga and meditation and Upanishads and Vedas. Understand, I read a research report. I don't know how much it is true, but it's really convincing. Any average millionaire in US goes bankrupt at least 3 times in his lifetime. Please understand. Any average millionaire goes bankrupt at least thrice. There is a book called The Millionaire Next Door, The Surprising Secrets of Americans Wealthy. There they are explaining. I do not know how much it is true, but it is very convincing. I'll really believe this. Understand the context why Vedas prescribe charity was not understood by Vajashravas. He thinks if he gives now, he will get something called punya, merit. That he can use it like exchange offer in heaven and get all the suit room, spa access, swimming pool access, or the food he wants. He thinks he can use it as a currency because he is confused, does not have patience to look in and understand the context, reason why the Upanishads prescribe charity. He is thinking giving away charity is a moral lesson. When you miss the context, you mess your whole life. Vajashravas misses the context and does charity like bargaining. See, when it comes to bargaining, naturally, who cheats is the brilliant guy, successful guy. So here, when the context is lost, he started cheating. Cheating means he started giving the cows, which already gave enough birth, drank enough water, ate enough grass, and gave enough milk. Now, no way it is going to be useful other than giving a cow dung and cow urine. He started giving out those type of cows. He started doing charity with things which is no more useful to him, which is not useful anymore for him. Giving away things which is not useful for anymore for him. Understand, when Rajas, even though Rajas gives birth to Sattva, when Rajas cannot guide Sattva anymore, Sattva goes to the master, Yamadharma. Yamadharma is not embodiment of tamas. He is embodiment of master. Please understand. If you don't understand the master, he may look like embodiment of tamas. If you understand, he is embodiment of tapas. When you don't understand, he may look like tamas. When you understand, you will realize he is embodiment of tapas. First rebel is Nachiketa. When he saw father is not understanding the context and he is not able to guide him, he did not bother to rebel. He did not bother to stand up. He did not bother to start seeking on his own. Nachiketa, the first hero of Vedic tradition. Please understand, Nachiketa is far, far, far more senior to any great incarnation or hero you know. He is far more senior to Rama, far more senior to Kapila, far more senior to any incarnation known to you in available records, in available Vedic literatures. He is the first hero we come across. The most ancient are the Vedas and Upanishads. So in the Upanishads, the first hero we come across is Nachiketa. And even in Gita, there are many lines repeated from Kathopanishad. Not only concept, please understand, many concepts from Kathopanishad is repeated in Gita, just copy paste. Even the lines are repeated. This shows Krishna was full of Kathopanishad in his inner space. See, whatever is in your inner space will naturally come out when you speak. For example, when you guys try to advise somebody, counsel somebody, what words will come out? Whatever you heard in the morning satsang, about which you are full of, that only will come out. Same way, by repeating verbatim from Kathopanishads, Bhagavan proves he is full of Kathopanishad. Kathopanishad is the earlier literature, then Bhagavatam, then Krishna's time. Nachiketa is senior to Rama, Krishna, all the known incarnations and heroes. I think today I have introduced too many important concepts. Go and sit and contemplate and do Vakyartha Sadas on it. Poverty, self-imposed poverty, way to reinvent yourself. This is the title for today's Vakyartha Sadas. Self-imposed poverty, the way to reinvent yourself. Do Vakyartha Sadas on it. I'll continue to expand further on these Upanishads. With this, I bless you all. Let you all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Advaita, the eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you. Be blissful.
Nityananda Dhyanapitham, Nityananda Nagar, off Mysore Road, Bidadi, Bengaluru. Phone 08027279999. www.nityananda.org, www.youtube.com/lifeblissfoundation.